In the headlines, voting commences in Ekiti governorship election across 16 local government areas. President Buhari begins fresh plans to revised policy to eliminate use of kerosene. Monkeypox hits Adamawa State, 5 cases confirmed. And away from Nigeria, Israeli air attacks hit Gaza after pocket fire. Hello and welcome to Trust News Update. I'm Dashan Husseina Usman. We begin with politics, where voting is in progress across Ekiti in the state governorship elections holding Saturday, June 18th. Our correspondent who is monitoring the process gives us an update.
As early as 7 a.m., eligible voters were already on their way to their various polling units to cast their vote in the ongoing governorship election in Ekiti State. A total of 989,202 voters are expected to cast their ballot in the 177 registered polling units across the 16 local government area of the state.
This is Ekiti, one of the polling units where the governorship election is holding. But this is actually to 9, and most of the polling units visited so far, most of the INEC officials are not there. And we have with us one of our voters here, right here. Morning, sir.
Good morning.
What's your name, sir?
Smonu Latif.
Sir, what do you want to tell us about the level of preparedness in these polling units?
I can see that the INEC officials, the police officers, and the NDC, all of them are here. And everybody is looking at their name, whether it appears here or not.
So what do you think, in your own expectation, how far, how well?
Then the election is going on gradually, and it's going to be free and fair, as I'm seeing it. There is no rancor, no stubborn people, no thug, everything. As you can see, everywhere is okay.
This polling unit is a union, and we're happy that we see a lot of people here as turnout, because we have always, I think, 100 and something people here, and you can see people now, we're almost 50, so we hope people will still come out to vote. INEC have really tried, because this unit, something, I didn't even believe that it can work out like this. But the way I see it, I think I can commend the INEC.
Some international observers spoke to Trust TV on the ongoing governorship election. Polling units are recording appreciable number as voters turn out for the exercise.
We're here on a joint mission to observe elections and make sure it's a free, fair, transparent, credible process. We are very eager to see how the new reforms will be implemented.
Deadline given by the Independent National Electoral Commission to political parties to submit names of presidential candidates and their running mates, as well as candidates contesting National Assembly elections, has elapsed. INEC had earlier opened its portal for political parties to upload names of their candidates. The portal automatically shut down by 6 p.m. on Friday. 18 registered political parties are contesting in the presidential and National Assembly elections scheduled to hold on the 25th of February 2023. While PDP had Atiku Abubakar as presidential candidate with Ifeanyi Okowa as running mate, APC will have Bola Tinubu as presidential candidate and Kabir Masari as running mate. Labour Party has Peter Obi as its candidate, while Doyin Okukwe as his running mate, while NNPP is fielding Rabiu Kwankwaso as its presidential candidate. Other parties like SDP, PRP, AAC, ADC, and NRM, among others, have already named their candidates. Federal government says it remains committed to addressing the plight of out-of-school children and other vulnerable young people in Nigeria using the platform of the At-Risk Children program. Both Deputy Governor of Kaduna State, Hadiza Balarabe, and Special Advisor to the President on Social Investments, Mariam Owais, believe that the program is critical in securing a sustainable future for undeserved children and vulnerable youths in Nigeria. They spoke in Kaduna at the closing of a 3-week capacity building program for 649 ARCP youth facilitators drawn from the 23 local government areas in Kaduna State. The report.
At-Risk Children Program, ACP, is a federal government initiative under the Office of the Vice President in collaboration with development partners. The program is designed to empower youth facilitators with the necessary tools as well as wherewithal that they need to effectively engage, empower, and nurture the primary beneficiaries of the scheme. Kaduna State Deputy Governor Dr. Hadiza Sabuwa Balarabe says the program is geared towards addressing issues of street hawking, people living with disability, orphans, and other vulnerable children in the state.
If at-risk children are not catered for, this dream will not be realized. Already, many youth still roam the street with only the desire to engage in drugs and other acts of criminality.
Earlier, the special advisor to the president on social investments, Mariam Uwais, said the program is targeted at the community to create hope to the lives of the at-risk children.
We're trying to create an army of competence and capacity at community level. A lot of these children have been without hope. They don't have any skills. They don't have any education. We're trying to create mentors for them, people that are skilled, who are trained, to be able to nurture them.
First Lady of Kaduna State, Hajia Hadiza Ismail Rufai, and the state's Commissioner for Human Services and Social Development, Hajia Hafsat Muhammad Baba, were optimistic that ACP will drive systemic change and address the concerns of at-risk children in the state.
And that the standards of living in our rural communities and parts of the urban communities will be improved through the empowerment of the identified children and young adults.
Facilitators have been trained, and they in turn will mentor at-risk children. You all know how important it is for us to mentor our children so that they do not fall by the wayside.
Kaduna State is the second state after Gombe to commence the implementation of the At-Risk Children Program. Lami Sadiq for Trust TV News, Kaduna.
The Delta State government has rewarded Ejiro Otarigo for averting a fire disaster in Agbaro area of Delta State with 2 million naira. Presenting the award on behalf of the state government, the secretary to the state government, Patrick Uka, commended him for his courage. The report.
June 11th remains fresh in the minds of Daltons as courage and patriotism made Ejiro Otarigo drive a fire-laden tanker filled with premium motor spirit to a safe place, averting a major fire disaster. For Delta State government, this act of bravery and concern for the safety of others is one that should not go unrewarded.
Would have been thinking of how to compensate, how to repair, and how to begin to bury the dead. But God, in His own infinite mercies, brought you, and you are able to think so nationalistic. Because when we tell people that Delta are not the carry last, they look at it from the bad side. What we mean by Delta are not the carry last is exactly what you've demonstrated. Accordingly, the Delta State government wishes to commend you for the rare display of patriotism, humanity, bravery, and heroism by which you saved lives and properties at Agbaro, Oluyole North local government area of the state. Congratulations, my brother.
Ejiro says his move was spurred by his desire to save lives.
It was the situation that gave me the decision that I took. So I didn't think anything at that time because all I was seeing there was death, which I never want to be a part of.
His wife is grateful that he did not lose his life while trying to save others.
I'm happy because my husband today is a hero. It's not my making, but God's making, and I give him all the glory for that.
In education, the ongoing strike action by Academic Staff Union of Universities has been described as unnecessary as it could lead to irreparable damage. The Registrar Joint Admission and Matriculation Board, Professor Ishaq Oloyede, said this at a function in Ilorin. The JAMB Registrar, who said incessant strikes by unions in the nation's tertiary institutions was capable of causing irreparable damage on not just the students but also the nation, urged both the government and the unions to find ways of putting an end to the strike action.
Acknowledging the fact that the primary responsibility of reasonable funding, even if it is not adequate, of public and educational institutions lies on the proprietors, the government who established the institution and literally abdicated their responsibility. May I seize this opportunity to call on university-based labor unions to appreciate the irreparable damage of incessant strike on not just the students, but also on our nation, and therefore stop this unnecessary strike.
President Muhammadu Buhari has restated Nigeria's commitment for a safer and healthier global climate, listing the country's updated nationally determined contribution to include elimination of kerosene lighting by 2030, increase in use of buses for public transport, and reduction in burning of crop residues. In a virtual meeting hosted by President Joe Biden of the United States on Major Economies Forum on Energy and Climate Change on Friday, President Buhari said that an updated nationally determined contribution to the UN Framework Convention on Climate Change had been submitted to replace the interim contribution of May 27, 2021. President Buhari also noted that Nigeria was developing national frameworks for Article 6 and for carbon pricing, adding that the sectoral action plan for the implementation of the revised NDC in the key priority sectors, which include energy, oil and gas, agriculture and land use, power, transport, and water and waste, has been finalized.
Quality and reduce Nigeria's contribution to climate change through 22 specific mitigation measures in 8 source sectors: transportation, cooking and lighting in household, industry, waste, oil and gas, agriculture, power and hydrofluorocarbon, as well as adoption and the ratification of the Kigali Amendment to the Montreal Protocol aimed at phasing out hydrofluorocarbon emissions. The full implementation of these measures would be effective in reducing short-lived pollutants with an 83% reduction in black carbon emission by 2030, compared to a business-as-usual scenario, and 61% reduction in methane emissions. These measures are also effective in reducing other air pollutants such as nitrogen oxides and particulate matter, and also reduce carbon dioxide emissions. This means that the implementation of these measures could reduce exposure to air pollution across Nigeria by 20% in 2030.
You're watching Trust News Update. Coming up after the break. Explosion in mining activities in Nasarawa. Do stay with us.
To every politician, as the campaigns gain momentum and passions begin to rise, remember, the errors of your opponents do not make you a success. Do not run down your opponent and inflame passions to violence between and among your supporters. What counts is what you plan to do for the electorate and how you intend to relieve their sufferings and bring succor. Nigeria is in dire need of patriotic leaders at all levels, leaders who will make national development their priority. Concentrate on telling the electorate what you intend to do when you get into office. Focus on making your vision clear to the electorate. Don't engage in verbal abuses, fake news or speeches. Keep dealing with issues that will bring progress. You win the hearts and minds of the people by being above board, by being civil, patriotic, and showing empathy. Let's join hands to make the 2023 elections peaceful. A message from the National Orientation Agency.
Welcome back and thanks for staying with us. You're still watching Trust News Update. Let's take a look at some of our top stories. We told you that voting commences in Ekiti governorship election across 16 local government areas. We also heard that President Buhari begins fresh plans in revised policy to eliminate use of kerosene. Moving to health, Adamawa State Government says it has confirmed 5 cases of monkeypox and is examining 57 other suspected cases. The Director of Public Health in the State Ministry of Health, Dr. Celine Alori, who disclosed this in an interview with Trust TV in Yola, says the 5 cases were confirmed on June 12, 2022. Silas Lawang has more.
Dr. Lowry said the monkeypox was first noticed between late April and early May at the Army Barracks and later at the Yola Correctional Facility. She explained that so far the disease has been confirmed in 2 local governments of Yola North and Yola South. She explained that till date, the spread of the virus cut across 2 metropolitan local government areas of Yola North and Yola South. Lowry assured that to curtail the spread of the disease, an emergency operation center had been set up.
Cases were mostly in the correctional center in Yola North, and also there are quite a number within the communities. So on receiving the reports, we immediately mobilized and entered the locations, and they were fumigated, and then some commodities were provided to maintain hygiene amongst the inmates and also within the community. Provisions have also been made for treatment of the cases at the Infectious Disease Center in FMC.
While lamenting the lack of information on the disease, the director called for proper sensitization among the people, warning that monkeypox is highly contagious, adding that infected persons should be isolated and proper hygiene maintained to avoid further spread.
This disease is mostly prevalent amongst males than females. Yeah, and also within the age group, they said that didn't get the smallpox vaccination. So some people are saying that those that got the vaccination are somehow protected, but we are not sure of that. So it's mostly prevalent among the males than the females.
The director further explained that symptoms of the virus include fever, accompanied by rashes that look like chickenpox. Monkeypox is a rare disease that caused by infection with the monkeypox virus. From Yola, Silas Lawan, Trust TV News.
Nasarawa State is known as the home of solid minerals. Activities leading to the exploration of these minerals are attracting people to different sites where the minerals are located. Abubakar Abdullahi, who visited some of these sites, brings us closer to miners and their world of mining. His report is presented from our studio.
Adudu community is located in Obi local government area of the state, and the mineral resources in the area attracts people from within and outside the state who come to engage in different activities in the mining value chain. A visit to the community and indeed some mining sites opens one to a flurry of activities as men, women and indeed children are all part of the search for one mineral or the other. This search takes miners to scary depths below sea level. The workers share their experiences at the mining sites.
My job here is basically going inside to bring whatever they worked on. Mining is my job, and honestly, this job gives me great pleasure. And I benefited immensely from it. People appreciate what we do here.
Abdullahi Isiaka, who is one of the site supervisors, explains some of the processes involved in exploring these mineral resources in the mining sites.
This is the way we are getting these materials. The way we are producing it, this is the road that you can follow here to Uganda. The place that we are producing zinc and lead. Here, this place, if you just cross this border, is what I'm finding. Then you just go direct to the pit. If you go direct to the pit, we are producing lead, the quality lead, what is called cosmetic lead.
A geologist, Aliu Muhammad, tells Trust TV why the state has witnessed an upsurge in mining activities in recent times.
At the moment, due to the economic situation in the country,
this seems to be like one of the best options to go into because of the accessibility, considering the fact that this is the home of soil mineral, so there is high abundance of minerals around here.
Mining activities are not without health hazards, especially on children. Mohammed explains some of the risks as well as some precautionary measures miners could take to stay healthy.
You see, actually a long-term stuff. It doesn't just happen like immediately. It takes like years to come. You begin to find some deformities in birth. You know, the parents that work there for a very long time, or people that take water, or it depends. We begin to see some deformities in the children, but it hasn't been discovered yet around here. But maybe on the long run, 20 years, 25 years, it could still happen, it may not still happen. The radioactive element in the areas, mostly around Nasarawa State and all these places, is not actually high.
Deputy Director, Mining Department in the State Ministry of Environment, Ibrahim Yahya, says the department is taking measures to prevent residents from the negative effects of mining activities in the state.
Before you start mining proper, you must at least develop a report on how to do the mining, how to do the excavation, and how to do the refilling of these mining spots. So all these things that we're talking about are some of the things that we are emphasizing. On every mining company that comes to mine in Nasarawa State, you must provide all these reports and must tell us the plans on how to excavate and how to plan after excavation.
He acknowledged that the sector has become a source of livelihood to many, especially youths and women, hence the increased activities around the sites.
In business, the Central Bank of Nigeria has continued its intervention in agriculture to boost food sufficiency across the country. As a way of encouraging more people to embrace farming, the bank on Friday recognized farmers for their diligence in loan repayment under Agriculture Credit Guarantee Scheme Fund. Yusuf Akogu reports.
The Agriculture Credit Guarantee Scheme Fund was established in 1978 during the administration of the then head of state, General Olusegun Obasanjo. The fund, which was meant to help peasant farmers improve output, kick-started the Operation Feed the Nation program of the administration. However, over the years, the low level of awareness has prevented the scheme from flourishing.
It's actually a country-wide intervention. Every farmer in every state knows about it, even the DMBs. The only challenge we have now is that the DMBs had for some time, neglected it, and now microfinance banks have taken that mantle, and they are the ones that are running it now. And the microfinance banks are the ones that are situated in the rural areas that are accessible to most of the farmers that cannot come to the town.
CBN is trying all their best right now to use it to encourage youth to go into agriculture because of the level of rebates that is attached to the program. For those who are able to obtain this credit level and they're able to pay back on time, they enjoy. I mean, it's a sort of encouragement for them, and this kind of intervention is very good.
Aside from low awareness, other factors have worked against the success of the scheme.
The whole issue is, how to get to improve the credit worthiness, so to say, of farmers. In this country, as we all know, we have this, do I call it mentality, that people don't want to pay back loans. And we have situations whereby funds or loans are even diverted to other ventures. And agriculture is one area which some banks, or most commercial banks, do not want to go into because of its own perceived risk.
And as a way of keeping the scheme alive, the CBN annually rewards farmers and financial institutions that have distinguished themselves under the scheme. The winners of this year's award are urging farmers across the country to take advantage of the scheme within their localities.
Whenever the opportunity to get this money, they should not use it for any other thing other in their farm. Because when you encourage yourself and you enlarge your farm, you know what you harvest.
This is just a token to drive ownership of the scheme by farmers. The thinking is simple. By sustaining this and other federal government schemes, food security will be guaranteed in Nigeria. Yusuf Akogu, Trust Television News, Abuja.
Away from Nigeria, Israel has launched air raids on the Gaza Strip after rocket fire from the Palestinian enclave targeted the city of Ashkelon in southern Israel following months of relative calm in the region. Palestinian media said the Israeli strikes fell on agricultural land in Gaza on Saturday, but the Israeli military said it targeted military sites belonging to Hamas, the Palestinian group which rules the enclave. In response to the rocket attack, Israel Defense Forces aircraft struck a number of Hamas terror targets in the Gaza Strip, the Israeli military said in a statement. There were no immediate reports of casualties in Gaza or Israel. There was no immediate response from Hamas nor a claim of responsibility from any of the enclave's other group. And finally, in sports, 19 players have arrived at Abuja as the Super Falcons opened their camp for the 2022 Women's Africa Cup of Nations. The team is camping in the nation's capital for the tournament billed for Morocco between July 2nd and 23rd. The defending champions had their first training at the MKO Abiola Stadium Friday evening as preparations kick off for the competition. Nigeria defeated South Africa to clinch the last edition of the tournament in 2018 and had also beaten perennial rivals Ghana and Cote d'Ivoire to book a place in Morocco. The 9-time winners are in Group C of the WAFCON with Burundi, Botswana, and South Africa. And with this, we've come to the end of Trust News Update. Remember to follow us across all our social media platforms. I'm Darshan Husseina Usman. Thanks for watching.